Why should children play music in schools? There are actually so many reasons, I think. One of which is the sense of community that is created by the various music making endeavours. I think certainly, those of us who were sort of privileged enough to experience that at school, very often those types of projects allowed us to sort of mix with not just people who were at our school, but also people who are at various other different schools across that county, which I think was kind of quite important. But for me personally, it was something that was kind of transformative. I mean, it gave me, I think, a real genuine purpose, as a musician. And I think that's one of the most important things, that I think without those structures in place, I certainly wouldn't have been able to do the things that I'm doing now. So I think there's the aspect of community. There is the aspect, I think, of just kind of cultural enrichment, because we often focus on kind of like financial enrichment, which is really, really important, right? But also as well, that aspect of cultural enrichment, I think is just really important.
Art, for me, is something which makes life worth living. It's almost like the difference between living in black and white and living in colour. And when funding is cut, really we live in a poorer society because of that. And I really do worry because of those things. So it is a very sad state of affairs.
It's such a big role in my life because since I joined a children's choir since I was 8, and then I get to meet other people in the choir, and also you get to collaborate with other musicians and children, and it also helps with your mental health issues or well-being.
Well, you're talking to the right person here. I think music is an amazing, important thing. I think it's not just entertainment. It's good for the soul. It's good for the body. It's good for everything. I mean, there's just, if you think about sort of music therapy, for example, which is an amazing field of therapy. People who have Alzheimer's, they play them a piece of music and suddenly they're back in the room. That's an amazing thing. That's not just superficial. That's a real thing. It's real, genuine connections that are going on in the brain when we listen to music. It is genuinely good for people, and I think it's very frustrating when we're up against the government who's sort of endlessly cutting these things because they don't think they're sort of important. They're not as important as English. They're not as important as maths. Well, I would argue they are as important, if not more important. Music's never going to go anywhere. There's a reason we keep going to engage with it all the time. There's a reason we go to gigs to hear our favourite singers. We go to concerts to see our favourite orchestras. We go to opera houses to hear these stories told through music. It's because we need it. We can't live without it.
We have to look forward with this idea of a vision for choral music that we need to be able to tell everyone about, and young people come and join from whatever background. It's really important that we put a big message out there that singing is good for us, it's good for our minds, it's good for our bodies, it's good for the spirit, if you like, and the education of everyone into understanding that, we love sport, but you know what, that brings people together, but so does music, and so does singing in particular.